I know that you're muted, but can you give me a thumbs up if you hear me? Great, thanks. And Carol, I see that you're in the meeting as well. So we have a few minutes, but if you could turn your video on and just test your audio before meeting time, that'd be great.
Hello, how are you all?
Hi, now I can hear you and see you.
I'm busy grading papers. That's the way it is these days.
Oh, thank you so much for helping out when the district needs you most in all the ways,
It's
right?
been good. Such great kids. So
Good.
it's been busy though. It's very different than retirement. That's for sure.
Very different. Very different. Well, yes, it is still retirement, but different than your retirement last spring.
Very, very much so. But yeah, I'm happy to do it. And they've posted this job and hopefully they will find someone for second semester. So
Oh, good.
that's in the
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Great.
That variety show, oh my gosh, what an enjoyable show that was. Those kids are just amazing.
I know. I know. I got to enjoy it Friday, Thursday night, and Friday night. Andy went Saturday as well, but I actually traveled Saturday to see my nephew, who's an eighth grader, and he was the star of his middle school musical over in Racine, Wisconsin. So
Fun.
I
Oh, that's
had
a drive. Yeah.
just about the best weekend ever. It was great.
And Natalie's piano solo was just stunning. It was just very,
Oh,
very accomplished.
yeah, she works really hard. Thanks for saying that. I'm passing on all compliments to her.
Definitely. And the on the German song, oh my gosh, I have those 11th graders in my classes, and that was so hilarious.
I know. Yeah, that was one of our favorites too.
Yeah. And they're tired today, very tired. Those kids push themselves. And then the
Yeah.
36-hour math competition, they stayed overnight in the library last night. So, I mean, they're just, we saw, and then this week, then Thursday and Friday, it's all state. I mean, it's just,
I
these
know.
kids leave a busy, crazy life.
I know.
I,
Max was invited to participate in that math competition that slept on the floor, but he respectfully declined because he wanted to join me for the musical in Racine. So, um, yeah, but wow,
yeah.
lots of things going on.
Mhm.
And we have just a few more minutes. Tim, I know that, oh, he's busy talking.
Thank you, Cindy, for following through on this so that we kind of know how this is what's gonna happen in the meeting today. So.
Yeah, of course. Tim, you're not muted anymore, so now I can do a sound check with you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. Come in person, but I don't know. Actually, I do know. Ron is gonna come in person. And
Right.
very shortly be in your purview.
There he is.
There he is. And he's not wearing his Decorah Vikings, he's supporting his Iowa Hawkeyes today.
Yes.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
All right, we don't need to start kind of trouble, so we'll just leave
No
that alone.
comment. But I have had success in getting Natalie to schedule a college visit at Iowa State University, which was a requirement of this process by Andy and me. So that is
You're
scheduled
both
for December.
IS grads. You,
Yes,
yeah.
we both went there for undergrad. Yeah.
Not easy getting those college visits in this year with these new requirements for attendance.
It's not easy any year, just with schedules, but
Right.
We're doing our best.
Back to everybody's so busy, especially the adults are busy too, but
Yeah, Natalie is by far the busiest.
It's nice when they're legitimate college visits and not just mom or dad and the child conspire to go to Colorado and
Well, that
hike for a day
happened
or
in my household too.
I
Twice.
know students who have gotten trips to the East Coast and to the West Coast to go look at colleges, and then they go to McAllister.
I know. I put the kibosh on the East and West Coast trips, but Andy snuck in 2 college visits to CU Boulder with just him and Natalie.
Oh,
But
nice.
I can't control everything.
there was a Riley Cronin and Danette Cronin trip to Colorado as well.
Yeah,
And why wouldn't you want to go to school in Colorado?
I know, right?
What decided to cancel or not go to one visit because they were having too much fun hiking.
Right.
That's bad when you actually cancel the visit.
Should have said that.
Okay, so my computer time says 11:57, so we have just a couple more minutes before we go live stream. I can't see the audience super well. Is Sean in the room, or Tim, do you have control of the Zoom meeting of going live?
Sean is in the room.
Great. Thank you, Sean.
Elvis, however, has left the building.
This will be our first official meeting without Brian.
Which is wonderful. I mean, it's sad for us and for our district, but man, 17 years is an amazing
I
accomplishment.
know. I know. A lot of life can happen in 17 years.
I wondered, we never looked to see who was the longest serving board member.
Hmm.
Ever.
Might be him.
Yeah.
We used to have everybody's picture up, but that didn't go back.
Mona Nelson was 15 years.
Okay.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 15 so far.
Okay, my time says 12. Okay, I will go ahead and call this special meeting to order on November 18th. Please note that myself and Director Sand are joining virtually with Directors Fodness and Zander in person. Do I have a volunteer to read the mission and vision statements?
I got you, Cindy.
Thank you, Aaron. Go ahead.
At Decorah Community School District, we embrace student learning and well-being as our fundamental purpose. We will, in partnership with our students, families, and community, make the world a better place. The mission of the Decorah Community School District is learning, thriving, creating our legacy. The vision of the Decorah Community School District is Decorah Community School District will be a collaborative, innovative, learning-centered organization empowering students to embrace their personal strengths and create their future.
Thank you. And next, I will accept a motion to approve the agenda. We have a few old business items and then a few new business items.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second. Any further comments or discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, first is old business, and we were missing some pertinent information during our regular school board meeting last week. So the first item is approving the SBRC application for modified supplemental amount request for open enrollment out. Tim, do you have any other information that you want to say out loud as we consider approving this?
Sure, just a reminder, anytime we can ask for, I go to the SBRC, it's kind of a every year annual process kind of thing. You want to ask for that allowable growth. And the big three that we asked for is a special ed deficit, which we did last month. And this month we're asking for the open enrollment out and the LEP beyond 5 years. So for open enrollment out, this is just any students that are new open enrollment out from this year's count versus last year's count. And so that's 9 students, which allows us to ask for $75,262.68. And that's basic how that works. As you remember, we kind of talked about our enrollment in general going down, and this is one of those areas. We had more students open enrolling out. Still, on the whole, we're still plus 75 open enrollment with the students coming in and the students going out. So we still are a very desirable district. And then the LEP is just, those are students getting the English language instruction that's exceeded 5 years. And so that amount request is a little smaller at $8,217.
Okay, and I think we'll keep these as separate items for the purposes of this meeting and approving them. So first, are there any questions or conversation that needs to be had about the open enrollment out?
Is this quite a bit larger amount than we had last year for the EL students? Because we have quite a big increase in students with English language support, don't we?
I feel like it was in this range because this isn't necessarily student served. This is just going past the 5 years. But we can get a Kathy and we can get that. I feel like it was in the $7,000 or $8,000 range, but I couldn't be for certain.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the application for modified supplemental amount, open enrollment out.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next, approval of SBRC application for modified supplemental amount request for the LEP. Director Sand mentioned that we've had an increase in students, but Dr. Cronin mentioned that this is not really based on need, but it's over a 5-year time period. So.
I move that we approve the application for modified supplemental amount request for LEP beyond 5 years.
I'll second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to new business. Approval of consent items. There's a few personnel listings for review.
Nothing major here except just taking advantage of this special meeting to be able to issue contracts and to do a posting.
Yeah. You know, basketball's starting and para educators are needed. Yeah.
And we welcome them to the district and are very happy to have them. I move that we
Make a mo-
approve the personnel listings as listed on this document.
Second,
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And next, appointment of a new board member because of a vacancy. As we know, Brian Petersburg submitted his resignation a week ago at our regular board meeting in November, and the school district followed due process in posting this in Decorah, in the Decorah Leader and other news media. The board does have the right to appoint a person to fill this vacancy. And of course, the public, there is an open window of 100 days if someone is adamant to fill this role and collect signatures. There's a process for that. But in the meantime, we do have the authority to appoint a person for this role. We talked at our regular board meeting a week ago that we talked about the benefits of having someone that had run in the most recent school board election and also fulfilled volunteer roles within that time. And so there were, two candidates that ran for office, and then one candidate that had also filled those volunteer roles, which is Brad Darling. So today our job is to talk more about that. And I'm curious to see how other board members are feeling. Is Brad in person at the meeting today?
No,
He's not. Okay. I can share that since our last board meeting and since the vacancy had been shared, I was in touch with Brad, and he did share with me verbally over the phone that he would be proud to serve in that role for a year in serving on the board. I was excited about his enthusiasm. And again, my recommendation to the board is that we consider appointing Brad Darling into that 1-year role.
have we
I
received any other?
Go ahead, Ron.
I sent the email out Friday morning and I had one person just kind of respond like, what's the process? Or I forget exactly the question, but it was just kind of a process question. So I responded to that person and said, the criteria that we talked about and it was in the paper was look at the last election and then also looked at who participated in the process. And I was able to say, full disclosure, the board did say one person's name. It was carried in the paper. So the person didn't say they wanted to run, but I suppose if they were asking, there was probably there might have been some possibility that they would run. And person would be a great candidate. I would also say that we're appointing, you as a board are appointing someone for 11 months, and there will be an election in November of 25. So for this seat and 2 more seats. So I don't feel like, I don't think it's, there's, as we talked about, you can go either way you could ask for letters, but I think this is a very good process. And obviously when someone runs for the board and that shows a commitment to be on the board as well. So.
And just to be clear, if someone did go get signatures and turn in the petition with signatures, they would be doing that for the election next November, or would there be an election earlier than that?
They would be doing a petition to call for a special election. And I
Okay,
believe it'd be as early as December, but I imagine there's a time frame on getting it on the ballot, so it might be that March election cycle. That I don't know. But they would be calling for a special election before November 2025. So the appointed person still is going to serve until that election. The appointed person could run in that election. So, but yeah, whether the position gets filled by special election, like in March of 2025 or November of 2025, the board's just appointing the person until that time.
And one of the things, just to review last week, the district there is a sense of urgency to have all seats filled with the school bond passing, with the Iowa Association of School Board conference later this week, with all the work to be done on the transition of our conference placement and athletic. So there's just a lot of things happening, and we did talk about the benefits of appointing someone to fill the seat immediately. And then, of course, there's the other opportunities of due process, as Dr. Cronin mentioned, but would not happen as immediately.
Mhm. I also agree that appointing someone now would be a big benefit to the school district and to our board. So I'm in favor of doing that.
Yeah, I think the individual that we're speaking about would be an excellent board member, and I guess happy to make a motion that we approve Brad Darling as the new appointment.
I've had the same feeling as Ron so far about Brad. Really enjoyed getting to know him.
First, Aaron, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. We did have a motion, so we need to wait for either a second, and if there's not a second, we can have further discussion after that, but we'll need to wait for a second first.
I'm happy to second the nomination to appoint Brad Darling for the board vacancy.
Aaron, do you have other comments that you'd like to discuss before we go to a final vote?
At this point,
Just fine. Ron beat me there, so.
Well, that's the time to do it, after the second, that you can add comments, so procedurally, that would be fine.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, well, it's nice to hear and see the enthusiasm about this appointment. And Dr. Cronin, can you please be in touch with Brad Darling about this vote and see if he's still interested?
I will do that.
Great. Okay, that brings us to the end of our agenda. So I will call the meeting adjourned.